What's up, my family? Listen, first-time listener, or you've been here the whole damn time. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, giddy up, let's go, no notes.
That's my baby. That's my baby.
We're going at it at 110%.
I just want 5 minutes of happiness, please. Just give me 5 minutes.
And they scored! They did it!
Slap.
What the hell was that? Oh, yeah!
What the f*** are you talking about?
All right, welcome in, everybody. Monday night, Sports Hounds live on A2D Radio, streaming on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, X, and Instagram. Download us wherever you get your podcasts, Spreaker, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, and iTunes. Each and every Monday, we are brought to you by our good friends at Baguio's Breads. Baguio's Breads, home of the best stuffed breads, tomato pies, sandwiches, cutlets, and meatballs. Mention A2D Radio for 10% off your in-store purchase. Obviously going to be a big week to get over to Baguio's for your Super Bowl party. Again, they have the best stuffed breads, tomato pies, sandwiches, cutlets, and meatballs. Located in Mount Laurel, New Jersey. Tell them Brad Ryer, Rob Brink from the Sports Hounds, A2D Radio saying get that 10% off. And if you're a procrastinator like me, don't worry about it. They're open from 9 to 3 p.m. on Sunday. So absolutely plenty of time to get your order in there at Baguio's Breads. And it'd be nice, get Baguio's Breads in the mix for your Super Bowl party. Because, Brad, I got to tell you, I couldn't be less excited about this Super Bowl. Couldn't be less excited. I'm not really looking forward to it at all. I had a couple block pools going. I'll probably bet on the Chiefs. We'll get to our full preview and prediction later on in the show. But I hate the Niners. And I think I'm a little bit sick and tired of the Chiefs, even though I do have like a newfound fanhood of the Chiefs because – as I've mentioned on the show before, I am a Swiftie. Love her. Think she's great. So I don't get butthurt and been out of shape when they show her on the TV screen like most people. I don't care. I think it's great. Brad, did you see that just before we get into it, we're a big NBA show tonight. Joel Embiid is out again. The trade deadline is Thursday. Brad's Knicks are rocking and rolling. Sixers, not so much. They're going to be playing the Dallas Mavericks momentarily.
That's going to be a tough game.
Brad, did you see in Las Vegas, all the billionaires are bitching and moaning because the airport's called out there in Las Vegas, they ran out of private jet space. Sending the headline. The headline was, "Don't worry though, Taylor Swift reserved her spot well in advance. She's going to fly in from Tokyo after a concert, so she will be at the game." So haters, too bad. She's going to be there. But yeah, isn't that so funny?
She's a billionaire, so she'll get her spot.
Could you imagine that? Like, hey, honey, like, how was your day today? Man, my day sucked. They just told me they don't have a spot for my jet at the Super Bowl. Talk about first world problems.
Yeah.
But anyway, let's get to our poll question. Obviously, if you're living under a rock, Joel Embiid will not be having surgery on his knee. He's getting a procedure on his knee. He tore his meniscus. He's going to be out for an extended period of time. I don't understand why they just don't say that he's getting surgery, because he is getting surgery. They're calling it a procedure. Timetable unknown. He's going to have procedure tomorrow. They talked about on Agree to Disagree last night if the Sixers could be competitive without Joel Embiid. The answer is no. I mean, you saw it. It was Friday or Saturday. They played the Brooklyn Nets. They let up 140 points. That should tell you everything you didn't.
That was an ugly game for them.
That should tell you everything you didn't know about if the Sixers can be competitive without Joel Embiid this season. They cannot. Okay? So now the trade deadline, Brad, is Thursday. The Sixers should be buyers at the trade deadline. This is a lost season. Yet another lost season. And I'm a little frustrated tonight because the Eagles aren't playing on Sunday, and there's two teams that I don't particularly care for actually playing in the game. So I'm going to take out all my frustrations on the stupid, stinky 76ers, who I know I'm supposed to be like a 4-for-4 diehard Philly sports fan, but, I mean, my God, the Sixers make it damn hard to be a 4-for-4 person. But the Sixers absolutely should not be buyers at the deadline. This is 1,000% a lost season. Because Brad, if you go out and you buy at the deadline, because you anticipate Joel Embiid coming back, and he doesn't come back, then you just wasted assets that you can use later on in the future when you actually do have a chance if Joel Embiid ever decides to stay healthy for a full 82-game season. Which, I mean, the proof's in the pudding that this guy can't stay healthy. I mean, this guy wasn't healthy at 23, wasn't healthy at 28. Now he's over 30, and he's still not healthy. Brad, what do I say about pitchers who are 18 years old who have arm trouble? You know what they're going to have at 21? Arm trouble. Know what they're going to have at 25? Arm trouble. Know what they're going to have at 30? They're not going to have any problems at all because they're going to be out of the league.
Correct.
Joel Embiid can't stay healthy.
Yeah, it's gotten to be a major problem, and I the whole thing here is, and nobody's really talking about it. I think the Sixers will tell you by their action or their inaction at the trade deadline whether they expect Embiid to be back. I mean, you don't really know how badly torn it is until you actually go inside. You know, once they get inside and they see what's going on. So I think once they know exactly what they're looking at, then they can be reactive. But I don't know that they're going to be proactive here and getting making a gigantic trade unless they can do something that helps them next season. I don't know what they're going to be able to do right now. I mean, what center out there is really going to help them that much to keep them ultra competitive in a very tough East? It's not going to be that easy. I mean, they'll make the playoffs. I mean, even if they have to skate in as the between the 7 and 10, they'll definitely make the playoffs. And obviously if Embiid comes back and he can play at like 80% of himself, that makes them a championship contender, obviously. So it depends on what they find out. I mean, the doctors will tell them if he's having the procedure tomorrow. I think the trade deadline is Wednesday? It's the 8th, right?
I think it's what's today, the 5th? I think that's Thursday, right?
6th is Tuesday. You're right. Okay, so
it's Thursday.
The deadline's Thursday
in the afternoon.
Okay, so if it's Thursday at 3:00 and the procedure's tomorrow, okay, the Sixers the doctors will know about how long it's going to take him to be able to play again. So you'll see by whether if they do something or not. If they don't do anything, okay, then he's probably not coming back. If they do something, then there's got to be encouragement that they're probably going to do something here.
First off, the Sixers should have already made a trade, unless you're going to pull Donovan Mitchell out of your keister. That's the guy I really want, who I think can really help this basketball team, both this year and in the future. Because if you have Maxey and Donovan Mitchell as your backcourt, and then Joel Embiid down low, like that's something. That's something that I think can maybe 10% chance beat the Boston Celtics in a big spot. Because we know what they've done before hasn't been able to beat the Boston Celtics.
No, that's true.
The one silver lining here is that Nick Nurse is an excellent coach. I'm going to bag on the Sixers a lot tonight for the process of Scam Hinkie and Daryl Morey for being I don't think he's a good GM, and Joshua Harris for being just a weasel owner who only cares about his bottom line and doesn't care at all if his teams win or lose. But Nick Nurse was an excellent hire. He's an excellent basketball coach. He's gotten the most out of Maxey. He's gotten the most out of Tobias Harris. He's gotten the most out of the role players. Joel Embiid, who won the MVP last year, who's an excellent basketball player. He's just never healthy. Under Nick Nurse's tutelage, even Joel Embiid went to a whole different level this season. He was well on his way, at least in my opinion, to repeating as MVP. Now, obviously, he won't. And they have tipped the ball, so we'll give you a little live reactions here to Sixers Mavs as we progress through the show here. Luka is on the floor tonight. There was questions on whether he would be load managed tonight. There he is right there. So we'll see what happens. And there's Maxey taking it coast to coast. I mean, congratulations to Tyrese Maxey making the All-Star team as a reserve. It's tough for young guys to make the All-Star team.
You got a couple of young guys. Between him and Brunson, you got two young guys that are probably going to be on that All-Star team for a long time.
That's
No
correct.
question.
But
I
like,
mean,
with the Sixers, it's like Daryl Morey. I mean, you signed Nick Nurse as your coach. Nick Nurse won a championship not too long ago with the Toronto Raptors, and Daryl Morey just sat back and let OG Anunoby go to your Knicks and Pascal Siakam go to the Pacers. By the way, the Pacers are really good. If Tyrese Halliburton's healthy
yeah,
and he's had some hamstring problems, the Pacers are really, really
they're
good.
really good.
And now they have Pascal Siakam. Like, how can you as a GM, if you're trying to improve this basketball team, like not get one of those guys for your coach who just gets the best out of everyone on the team? You won a championship with these guys.
I can
And
tell
now,
you
thank
somebody
God,
who I can tell you somebody who'd be a good fit for them, and I think the Atlanta Hawks sound like they're going to make some. They're going to clean house. I mean, Clint Capella could definitely be a very adequate fill-in for Joel Embiid, and then when if
I don't want
Embiid
a
comes
guard.
back, you can just put him over to power forward.
I don't want a big though at the deadline. If they do make a trade, I want a guard. I want a 2-guard. I want a guy who
There's
can score the
plenty of
basketball, create his own shot,
plenty of those.
and
There's plenty of
most
those.
importantly, be able to defend the opposing team's 2-guard, which this team hasn't had since Jimmy Butler left.
Well,
So
speaking of the aforementioned Jimmy Butler,
yes,
there's a chance he may be moved.
there is.
I've been hearing that if that the Heat don't think that don't think they can win a championship, and Jimmy is not happy right now. You know Jimmy when he gets unhappy.
Yes, he's not pleasant.
No, he's not a fun guy to be around. So keep
Are
your
we?
eye on that.
Are we talking about the same Jimmy Butler that should have never left Philadelphia in the first place? When
Yeah,
the
that's
stupid owner and the stupid GM picked stinky Brett Brown and bum ass Ben Simmons over Jimmy Butler.
Yes,
We talking about that Jimmy Butler?
Yes, that Jimmy
Oh, okay.
Butler. Yeah.
So like that's just another wasted opportunity to maybe win a championship here, right? And like the reason I can't like get behind this team as much as I can, like the other teams in this city, is that they're con artists. Joshua Harris is a con artist. He's a con artist. He put a guy in Sam Hinkie in charge of this basketball team, and Sam Hinkie treated the Philadelphia 76ers like a 14-year-old treats NBA 2K on Xbox. He just simulated season after season, told the fans that the only way you can win a championship in the NBA is if you lose a bunch of games on purpose. It was a disgrace to the NBA. It was a disgrace to the game of basketball. It was a disgrace to the Philadelphia fan base. It's a disgrace to the everything related to Philadelphia sports.
No, that was awful.
It was an absolute disgrace. Now, the Knicks have been bad forever. They went to the finals in 1999.
But there's a difference between the Knicks and the Sixers. The Knicks did it with incompetence. The Sixers did it on purpose.
Which is unacceptable. But now
it's not acceptable to be incompetent either. But I mean, they tried.
No,
they just everything they did, as far as the Knicks were concerned, everything they did was wrong.
And then they thought the Knicks always thought that they were going to be able to get the big time free agents like LeBron and Durant to come to New York because it was New York and the Madison Square Garden and the whole thing. And it never really worked out for them.
Yeah, and instead they went to Brooklyn, which was a slap in the face. And then they finally, but if you think about it, in the long run, may have been the fact that those two guys went to Brooklyn instead of the Knicks may have been the best thing that ever happened, because that forced the Knicks to build a young team and to go out and get some young players and to build the right way instead of always trying to take shortcuts, because they can't do that. They just can't. And now they're in a position where they can literally trade for almost any player that's available right now in the league because of all the first round picks they've got squirreled away, and they've got some really good young players that are on their bench that the rest of the league seems to want. I mean, from what I've heard, that guy Murray on the Hawks, it seems like they've got a very good shot to land him, because they want Grimes, and they have Fournier, who's who makes $18 million on an expiring contract. So
Right, you can match the money.
And they've got 8 first-round picks in the next 4 years. So they've got enough assets to make a trade like that. Or if it's not him, it could be somebody else. I mean, I'm quite sure. I would say it's like 95% that they will get somebody, because otherwise they've wasted having a guy like Fournier on the team. You know what I'm saying? They kept him around so that they could have somebody to to have an expiring contract to trade with somebody for salary matching purposes. So they need to use that. Like, most good teams and most good organizations take advantage of that situation.
But like, getting back to the Sixers for a second, like, how in the world can you tell me that the only way to build a championship is to lose all these games, get all these picks, accumulate all these assets, is the only way to win, when no team's ever done that in all the years of the NBA? A championship team has never been built like that. And now they're in the same freaking position this year as they were when the process started.
The Spurs sort of were.
The Spurs got the first pick in the draft. First off, they won the lottery, and David Robinson got hurt that year, so they sucked.
Right.
And
that's true. They already had David Robinson, whom they drafted, by the way. But then he got hurt, and then they were horrible without him, and then they tanked the rest of the way, and then they won the lottery, so they were able to get him and Duncan, and with those two on the team, and they got Tony, whatever the hell his name, I can't remember, the French kid.
Tony Parker, yeah.
Yeah, they got him, and that they just were great for a long time.
But like, the Sixers couldn't get out of the second round before the process started. Then they lost. They won 10 games a year for 7-8 years straight. And now it's supposed to be go time, and you still can't get out of the second round. And your franchise player, Joel Embiid, can't stay on the floor. That's a scam.
No, and they were,
that's a con artist job.
I thought Nick Nurse did a nice job, coddling him and giving him enough rest so that he'd be healthy. I mean, he really did, Rob. He wasn't playing 40 minutes a night. I mean, what was Embiid playing? 30 minutes a night?
Brad, you know what they say: if it looks like a duck and quacks like a duck,
yeah. No, I realize that
it's probably a duck.
It's just it's hard to believe, because, I mean, they're really they should have been in a much better position than they are with all those first round picks that they had, and it's eluded them.
It's just Jahlil Okafor, Markelle Fultz, Ben Simmons.
I think Fultz may have been the worst one, because they could have had Jason Tatum.
They traded up to take Fultz over Tatum.
Yeah, precisely. And
awful. Nerlens Noel. They traded Drew Holiday. They traded Drew Holiday for Nerlens Noel during this process, because you couldn't win a championship with Drew Holiday as your starting point guard. How many rings does Drew Holiday have these days? Probably about to get another one up in Boston this year. They're loaded.
He can't win it. Well, we know that's not true.
But Brad, sports, you fill in. You fill in around what you have.
Yeah, well,
especially in basketball,
you have to do it with basketball, and you're right about that. With basketball, you have to do it every way imaginable. Okay, you have to draft a couple of players. You have to make a couple of really good trades, and sign the right free agents. And it's mind-boggling when you think that they had Embiid, Maxey, and Harden, and weren't able to win a championship last year. And the fact that they had Boston, it was 3-2. They had Game 6 in their building. I was shocked that they completely blew that series. I really thought that they were going to break through, and I had the displeasure of having to see a parade in Philadelphia. I was really concerned about that. I thought almost assuredly that was going to happen, and it didn't. Now, again, as I said, when the Sixers when the trade deadline hits, okay, if the Sixers don't make any moves, okay, then Embiid's not coming back. If they do make moves, you would probably think, yeah, Embiid's coming back, because why bother making moves if Embiid's not coming back? You're not going to win a championship, and the ultimate goal is to win a championship, not make the playoffs and get to round 2 again like they've been doing the last
5 years, 4 years.
It just seems like forever. You want to win at least get to the finals. If you get to the finals and you lose in the championship because the other team is just better than you, you can kind of live with that. But I mean,
and it's a shame because the East is better this year, bro. Well, first off, the East is better because your Knicks are a real contender. Like the Knicks,
when they get completely healthy again, they're I would agree with you. I mean, when they get at right now, okay, against the Lakers, that 4 of the 5 starters were not playing. When you look at it, Grimes didn't play, Anunoby didn't play, Mitch Robinson's out, and Randall's out. I mean, that's 4 out of your 5 starters. And yet, if you take a look at it, they did win 3 in a row before they finally lost the game against the Lakers.
Yeah, and the Lakers played Friday night in Boston, and they somehow won without LeBron and AD. So you had LeBron and AD coming into the Garden, fresh as daisies.
Yeah. And I mean, look, when they get these guys back, and I'm assuming you're going to get Anunoby back by the weekend at the latest. And Grimes, who knows? Grimes may not see him in a Knick uniform after Thursday. So I don't know, but whomever they get, and they may just get a bench player. I don't know. They seem to this group that they have right now seem to like wing players that can shoot 3 and D type players. That seems to be what Thibodeau likes. Maybe they do that. I don't know. We'll see what they do, but that's kind of where you're at right now.
I mean, this could be a blessing in disguise, the Embiid injury, because maybe they'll just stand pat and, kind of try to rally around the Embiid coming back. Because if they don't do anything, and let's say Embiid comes back for game 1 of the playoffs, like, there's your free agent or your trade deadline acquisition right there. And you didn't go out and give up assets to do something stupid. I don't want them to make a stupid panic trade just because Joel Embiid's out and they think that their champion window's open.
Well, no, I don't think that they should do that. But I do think if they can do something that's going to improve the team, and it's not just for this year, but it's for years to come. That's something they should strongly consider doing. Even if it's a rental, if it's a guy that's willing to play in Philadelphia, then why not?
Well, yeah, if there's an expiring contract like a Donovan Mitchell that you can get, because you have the leg up to re-sign him in the NBA, you can give him more money.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I mean, if you can get a guy like that, sure, why not? I mean, there are certain guys, and any one of these guys would love to play with Embiid. You know that. There's not a play, and from what I've heard, the whole league loves Maxey. The players, that is, they all have a ton of respect for that kid. He's supposed to be a really nice, likable kid. So that's another thing. If the right deal's there for them, they should do it. But don't force it. Don't just make a deal because you feel like you have to make a deal because the fans are going to go nuts if you don't.
I mean, I rip on Daryl Morey like a lot because I think he's a dope.
I've noticed.
Yeah,
he's your Brian Cashman.
Yeah, I don't like him even one bit. But one thing he is patient. He was patient with Ben Simmons when everyone was ripping him, and it worked out, but it didn't work out.
Well, you know what? Listen, I don't think anybody could possibly complain when he ended up getting Harden for Ben Simmons, and I don't care what anybody says. That was still a good trade. Ben Simmons never plays. I mean, and you were able to get
the criticism. The criticism of that trade was you gave up a guy like Andre Drummond and a shooter like Seth Curry in the deal as well.
But they're a dime a dozen. You can always find guys like that, though. It's not like
really
you can't find a guy.
Replaced either of them. You haven't replaced either of them yet.
Well,
So I don't know how much dime a dozen they are.
That's sheer stupidity, though, on behalf of the Sixers, though.
He was also patient with Harden. He got a pretty good deal for Harden at his basement level. Because Harden's a pig. Ben's a pig. But Harden is just he's old. The Clippers are actually doing kind of good now with him because Harden's like the third, fourth option.
But Harden doesn't have to be. Harden doesn't have to. I mean, that's why I thought he'd be so good with the Sixers because he didn't have to be the guy. And that's why I thought he'd do so well with the Nets.
No, he doesn't. It didn't work. Let me explain something to you, Brad. The reason it didn't work with Harden and Maxey in the same backcourt because you don't have one big and strong enough to cover the opponent's two guard when push comes to shove in the playoffs. So when Tatum and Brown are getting 30 a night and you have Maxey trying to cover one of them, it's just not going to work. Maxey is a great player, but he's not big and strong enough to cover guys like Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. That's why it didn't work here in Philly. And James Harden would be a baby when he wasn't the primary ball handler.
He didn't want to play defense. He's never played defense a day in his life. That's part of the problem. I'm sure he could if he really wanted to.
Last thing, when we get some comments here, Zach LaVine of the Chicago Bulls, who I know a lot of Sixers fans wanted, me not one of them. That guy gets 30 a night on a bad team, and I didn't want any part of him. He's going to be out. He had shoulder surgery. He's going to be out for the season. So they won't be trading for Zach LaVine. I know I'm extremely happy about that. I know the Grand Poobah here at A2D Radio, Tom Arnone, is happy about that. I mean, my guy's Donovan Mitchell. If you get Donovan Mitchell and re-sign him to a max, you're not going to. If you get Donovan Mitchell, you're going to not re-sign. For Tobias Harris would probably be in that trade. For a guy of caliber.
For matching
salary purposes.
Yeah.
So that's moot. Then you have Maxey, Mitchell, and Embiid going into next year. Because a trade for Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, but Mitchell could play defense too, you know.
Correct. I think Donovan Mitchell's a dog, man. He played college ball at Louisville. I loved him there. They had some good teams in Utah, but it didn't work out for him. I don't think he got along. Nobody got along with that.
That wasn't his fault, though.
Well, I think they had chemistry issues out there because nobody got along with Rudy Gobert, who was just an idiot.
And Rudy Gobert hasn't really. I mean, isn't he hurt again?
I don't know what he's doing at the moment, but the Wolves are
really good
in the West.
But I don't know that he's even playing right
now. He's been playing. He has been playing though, and him and Cat down low with Ant-Man on the perimeter. That's a really good basketball team in Minnesota. So
yeah,
and I like that for some fresh blood in the NBA. I feel like year after year, it's just like the same teams. It's Steph Curry, it's LeBron, it's Jimmy Butler, Jokic. So it's interesting because the Thunder, a team that actually like drafted good players with all the draft picks they accumulated, now they're the number 2 seed in the West.
That team is going to be very good.
All right, here's our first comment of the night. Rob Povia, your hockey happy hour compadre.
Yes, indeed.
Second half of the season about to start. I'm sure you'll have all the skinny on Flyers and the rest of the NHL.
Yeah, we got a little fresh meat to give to everybody tomorrow about a prospect that a lot of us didn't know about with the Flyers, and I'm not going to ruin the surprise. And I'm just going to tell you that stay tuned tomorrow, and we'll let you know whom that is. Is
he a goalie? Because the Flyers need a goalie.
He is not a goalie. The Flyers have plenty of good goalies in their farm system, Rob.
Okay,
that is
that's
one
good
position.
To know because
that is one position they are well stocked as far as young players. I mean, it's almost like they knew something was going to happen, and they went out and drafted a lot of really good young goaltenders. Wow, look at this! Nathan McKinnon and Keandre Miller almost had a fight before. And these are two guys that never fight. and they're screaming at each other. They were wrestling on the ice before. They're back at the bench, yelling at each other. I think that's great.
What's up with your boy? Before we get back to the NBA, what's up with your boy Truba getting suspended for 2 games?
Well, apparently he did a slight. He kind of plays on the edge, Truba, and his last shoulder check turned out to hit somebody in the head, so he's gone for a couple of games. And I saw the play. He deserved it. I mean, he did what he did. He's lucky it wasn't more than that. I'll tell you that.
Well, I'm going to lose fantasy hockey. I'm going to lose fantasy hockey matchup now because he's out for 2 games.
Well, he already missed 1, so it's just tonight. It's just tonight's game against the Avalanche, and that might be a blessing in disguise too, because Truba's a good player, but he's also slow, and against Colorado, you're better off having faster players. You don't need big strong guys that are going to try to fight, because that you can't play that way against Colorado. They'll beat you 50-0 if you try to play like that, as the Flyers found out last week.
Yeah, Rob Povey, he agrees to the poll. Sixers should be buyers at the deadline. Keep this team in playoff position until JoJo gets back. Rob
They're going to be in play. They're going to be there. I mean, as long as they get him back for game 1 of the playoffs, I think that they'll be okay. The question is he? I mean, are they snowing us with all this stuff, or are they really going to get him back before the playoffs start? That's really the question.
Well, first off, caution in his rehab.
I would wait. I would also wait until the surgery is over and find out from the doctors, honestly, when he's going to be available. Because if he's gone and he can't even come back for the playoffs, I wouldn't be going nuts trading future assets, because it's not likely that no matter who they get, it would be unlikely that they're going to win a championship.
Nick Nurse is going to earn his money in this 34-game stretch. They have 34, including tonight, so 33 after tonight. They have 33 games left in the regular season. I mean, they're up 4 on Dallas right now. I haven't noticed if Kyrie Irving is back on the floor yet, but Luka Doncic is playing, and the Sixers are up 4 with a minute left in the first. Tobias Harris is playing well. Maxi's playing well.
Part of the problem, though, with them, Rob, is they don't have a lot of depth, and it seems to come out in the second half more than anything else.
That's a good point.
Yeah, that's the problem. They'll stick around with anybody in the first half. I mean, they've proven they can do that. But the problem is, Maxi can't play the whole game, and he gets a little tired. And when he starts getting a little tired, he's a little bit lackluster on defense, like most players. And it's hard for him to be able to keep them in the game. They got to have a couple of guys come up off the bench that can really get involved and help this team. Somebody has to step up. They're
hitting a lot of shots. They're shooting the lights out right now.
Tonight
they have 30 points. 30 points at the end of 1. And Kyrie Irving is playing. Kyrie Irving is playing tonight. I just saw him.
Okay.
So this is a full strength Dallas Mavericks squad. They just made another 3.
Well, they have to listen. They've got to play for 48 minutes. Give me 48 minutes and you get a shot. Listen, Milwaukee was getting their brains beat in the other night, and by Dallas. I believe Dallas was ahead of Milwaukee by 18 points,
and they lost. Yes,
after the first quarter, and they got smoked in the second half. I mean, you never know. That's the problem.
Milwaukee. That's a weird dynamic up there. I don't know who owns their team or who their general manager or who calls the shots up there. First off, you're 31-13, and you fire your head coach.
Yeah, what I don't get that at all.
And then you fire your head coach and bring in a notorious loser in Doc Rivers.
Yeah, what has Doc done that I mean, what transpired? How did it all of a sudden occur to him? We must have Doc Rivers. We must have him now.
I think that the problem up there is that Giannis, their best player, has way too much say. and they brought in a guy in Dame Lillard, who's also got a big ego and gonna have a lot to say. I mean, Mike Budenholzer won them a championship, and they kicked his ass out of there for this guy Adrian Griffin, who had them as the number 1 seed in the East.
And then they had
and
the
then
nerve
they
to
fired
lose.
him.
They
fired
had the
him.
nerve to. He had the nerve to lose to Miami without Giannis, right? I mean,
And then they bring in you did all that moving and shaking for Doc Rivers. You should have just kept the original guy. Doc Rivers ain't winning you nothing.
no, he had Doc Rivers had all the talents in the world and couldn't win.
That's why I think, and Milwaukee plays no defense.
Well, that's why they can never beat the Celtics. I mean, listen, they had their 1 year where they won the championship, which, eventually that was going to happen. They have their 1 year, but you know what? Right now, it just seems like and it shouldn't be, but the fact that they're 31-13, I would have thought that they'd have a better record than that, quite honestly.
I mean, 31-13, that's a tremendous record, Brad.
I understand that, but I thought they'd be even better than that, though, Rob.
That's like a 75% winning. 75% of their basketball games.
Yeah, I mean, I thought they'd be like a 65 win team. They're not gonna win that many games. Yeah, I thought that they would. And again, basketball is not my sport of expertise, but I thought that they might be that good, just with Lillard and the rest of that team. And for whatever reason, it doesn't seem like that's the case. Maybe that's.
Well, I mean, they got Lillard at the 3-4 years too late, a little bit.
Yeah, but he's still a tremendous player, though.
Right. I hear. I don't know. I just don't.
I kind of enjoyed seeing that Lillard lost in Portland, though. I kind of enjoyed seeing.
And
that.
Portland stinks. And Doc Rivers, I think he's 1-4 as their head coach. So you're winning 75% of your games with the other guy. You fire him. You bring in Doc. Now you can't buy a win, and you're losing to Portland.
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, that team can be had in a playoff series. Like, the Sixers can beat that Milwaukee Bucks in a 7-game series.
Listen, they've always.
If Joel Embiid is healthy.
They have always had. I think they've always kind of had their number, haven't they?
Not really. It's kind of the other way around. The only time really that Sixers win is when Giannis rests.
Oh, okay.
They beat him one time on Christmas because the Sixers made a bunch of threes. But that was it. Maybe I'm mistaken. I don't have the statistics in front of me, but I feel like Milwaukee beats the Sixers' brains in every time they play them. But like Tyrese Maxey,
I thought it was the Celtics, but I could be wrong.
Oh, the Sixers, the Celtics, they do a number on the Sixers too.
Well, they do a number on everybody though.
Let's see. Sean Corhan, check this out on YouTube. Philly sports have been draining, man. Just feels like bad break after bad break. Hope Joel gets healthy soon. Yeah, kind of. Because I did the poll last night on Agree to Disagree is Philadelphia team will win a championship within the next 3 years. I agreed to that poll because we got the Phillies. That's our best chance right now.
Honestly, I think the Flyers could be the team.
Are they going to do it within 3 years though? Or do they need more time than that?
No, I think they could do it in 3 years. I think 3 years. Okay. I think this year they might make the playoffs as a wild card. They're going to come very close. I think next year they make their move and get past being a wild card and actually be good. And I think they could probably by next year with all the cap space they're going to have, if they can bring in some quality players, which they certainly have the payroll to do, they're going to be a major factor next year. And then the following season, the kid from Russia comes, so that's 2 years, right? Give him a season, let him get a season under his belt.
Yeah, Ivan Drago.
Mitchkov, and then our little surprise player.
Yeah, he's Ivan Drago from Rocky.
There you go. Okay, and then our surprise player, who I'm not going to give it away, who will probably be up maybe as soon as this year. He might be there too. So I think you guys are going to really be happy with them very soon.
But if you look at the land, to get back to Sean's comment here, and Sean, the nice Weapon X, Brian Dawkins, aviator there, we appreciate him listening. like I trust Briere and Keith Jones to get it done. I trust Dave Dombrowski to get it done. Howie Roseman, I don't know. Howie Roseman got some work to do this offseason. Because if he messed up on another quarterback, that's not good.
Too early
and
to tell.
Daryl Morey and the Sixers, I don't trust at all.
Well, they're right now they're the fly in the ointment because Embiid can't stay healthy. But I don't know what they do about that. I mean, do they trade him?
Yeah, but
trading stars, it never works out for that. It never works out for the team that trades the big star. You know that.
Well, I mean, it's hard to win a trade short term if you give up the best player.
Yeah, it is. It's hard to win a trade long term when you're giving up the best player as well. It just seems like in the NBA, it's really hard.
The NBA is a different animal from the four major sports, though, because you need seven quality guys to win a championship, maybe 8.
Yeah.
How many do you need in hockey?
Oh, you need more than 8.
You need 4 lines.
Yeah. Well, you need 3 lines that could score and 1 checking line, and you need 4 outstanding defensemen, and your back end defenseman should give you quality minutes for 10 minutes a game.
So what's that? 25 quality hockey.
Yeah, you need 20. You need 20 guys. I mean, you have to have a good backup goalie because you don't want to wear out your goalie. And have him play too many games, and then he won't be. He'll be tired in the playoffs. So,
I mean, Doug Mankiewicz, who's not with us tonight, he'll be back next week. He talks about in baseball, just on the pitching side, you need 8 guys who can start games for you.
Oh yeah,
and
absolutely.
pitch well and get it. Not to mention, you need a couple guys who bash.
Basketball, you're right. You only need 7, but it's not that easy though.
Right.
But if you got the one superstar, it's you have a chance.
Right, because then if you have Giannis, Dame Lillard's going to want to go to Milwaukee because there's Giannis. People want to come to Philadelphia because Embiid's here. Then you have teams like the Heat and the Lakers who,
everybody
LA
wants
and
to
Miami.
go to the Heat. Everybody wants to go to the Heat because everybody wants to play in Florida because of the taxes, and Jimmy Butler and Spoelstra. Everybody wants to play in LA because LeBron's there, and also the Lakers are a big name in basketball. A lot.
I love the Heat.
The Celtics too.
I love the Heat.
Same thing.
Did you see what the Heat did with Spoelstra's contract extension?
No.
So they've been negotiating an extension forever now because he's a great coach. He wasn't going anywhere, but he was going through a divorce.
Oh, they waited until
everything was finalized so that
he wouldn't have to share his money.
So he wouldn't have to share his money.
Good for them.
That's a good boss.
Yeah.
That's a good boss right there.
That's a boss that completely understands life.
Yeah. Brad, we got a question for you. A little baseball question. What's your thoughts for the Mets this upcoming season? The Mets are going to stink. It's going to be great.
They're kind of in a rebuilding phase now. I think. I think that if everything goes right for them, they could come in 3rd in the division. But they're not better than the Phillies. They're not better than the Braves. But again, everything has to go right for them to come in 3rd place this year. And Alonso can't be batting .220 this year. He's got to actually have a decent batting average. And I got to ask a question, Rob. Since when does batting average not mean anything in baseball? And doesn't it prove how good a hitter you are?
Since a bunch of dorks put everything into a spreadsheet and determined that batting average doesn't mean anything. I don't know. It means something to me.
I mean, I don't know. To me, I think batting average is probably the best indicator of how good a hitter you are, right? I mean, Joey Gallo hits a lot of home runs and gets a lot of RBIs, but he stinks. Why? Because he's lucky if he hits 200.
Right, because when he's not hitting the ball over the fence, he's striking out and hurting the ball club.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But if Joey Gallo hit 260. He'd be an MVP candidate every year. So,
But then, like, you also have to look at, like, what the spreadsheets don't. Like, how many – like, if Joey Gallo hits a solo home run what team's he on now? The Twins?
oh, God only
The
knows now.
Astros?
I don't know where
I don't
he
know.
is.
Whatever. Like, say he's on the
Yeah.
Twins, because I think I remember him on the Twins last year. But, like,
Yeah.
if you hit a solo home run when you're down 7-1 and then it's 7-2 because you hit a solo home run, like,
Does it count?
who cares? Who cares? Yes, it counts on the spreadsheet, but
Right.
people with eyes like the me and you and everyone here at A2D Radio that actually know the game and don't have an agenda, like, it doesn't mean anything.
Exactly.
Like, Brad, sports is all about putting pressure on your opponent, whether it's football, basketball, hockey, or baseball. If you're just gonna have a bunch of guys that are boom or bust, gonna just hit a bunch of home runs or strike out the whole time, you're not putting any pressure on your opponent. You're not putting any pressure on the pitching staff. You're not putting any pressure on the opposing. You're putting a little bit of pressure, I suppose, if you're hot, on the opposing offense to match you. But, like, if you're built to hit home runs and you're not hitting home runs in baseball, you're in trouble.
Yeah, exactly.
You're in real trouble.
That's what I'm saying. Alonso, and he's by far the Mets' best player. He can't be hitting 220. He's got to hit 260, 270 this year. You know, to go with his million home runs. He's got to do that. You know, I mean, Aaron Judge. You look at him, right? He hits he hits 280 every year. So you know what the 40 home runs, the 50 home runs that he's liable to hit this season, you're going to get a 280 average out of him. You know, and in some case, in one case, 300. You know, same thing with Bryce Harper. These guys.
What did he hit? What did Aaron Judge hit when? What did Aaron Judge hit when he hit all those home runs?
312.
That's unbelievable.
Yeah,
that.
Yeah, but that's Harper hits close to 300 every year.
Mm-hmm.
And he
I think he's just gonna have I think the Phillies are gonna. I think you're gonna get a full 162 out of Turner.
I think Turner's going to be a better player I think Turner will be a better player.
He was really good in the second half, but I think you're going to get a more consistent Trey Turner. I think Harper's going to be back rocking and rolling.
Yeah, well, he's going to play the whole season now, and and he'll be healthy the whole season instead of not really getting healthy till August. I mean, he played, and God bless him for coming back so fast. I mean, he wanted to play, and he's a gamer. I really respect the fact that he pushed himself so hard to get back and get in there, because that's all you got to know about him. A guy that was supposed to be out for almost a year, and he's back in 8 months.
It's amazing with these surgeries, because like Ohtani says he's playing opening day, not the pitch, but the DH.
Oh, to hit. Yeah, he might be able to.
That's his goal, he said. Mike Hayes, also the Phillies aren't doing well in the free agent market. It seems like no one is interested in coming to the Phillies to pitch.
I totally disagree. I totally disagree with that. It's not that nobody's going to the Phillies. The Phillies have not been active trying to get another pitcher yet. I wouldn't count them out. I wouldn't count them out, because you know what? These Scott Boras clients who are out of their minds right now, and we know who they are. Okay.
Blake Snell.
It's getting close. February 14th, pitchers and catchers report. Okay?
Is Bellinger a Boras guy, Brad?
Yes, he is. And so is my buddy Blake Snell, and who's he at Montgomery? These are all Boras guys, and none of them signed because they want absolute ridiculous amount of money. Guess what? When pitchers and catchers are supposed to report, and these guys aren't reporting anywhere, the prices are going to start coming down. And you know what? A lot of these GMs like Cashman and Dombrowski are just waiting. They're like waiting in the weeds for these guys to be reasonable. And I have a feeling you're going to see the Phillies. I'm not sure about the Yankees, because I don't know what the deal is with Hal. It's so weird that he's willing to spend the money on a guy who's never pitched in the major leagues before from Japan, but yet when there's almost a surefire, outstanding pitcher who won a Cy Young last year, he's hesitant. I don't get it. I don't get how you can be all over Yamamoto and not be all over Snell, but Okay, I mean,
I think marketing has a lot to do with that.
yeah, I guess, but I don't really get it. But okay, but at this point, I think when you look at it, when after the pitchers and catchers report, you're going to start getting into March. These guys need to find a place to play. I mean, you don't want to start missing spring training. Look at what happened with Carlos Rodon last year, Rob. I know he signed pretty early, but he missed spring training. He was late coming to spring training. He goes to spring training. He gets hurt. He misses all of spring training. Doesn't get back till July, and really never got himself going last year. I mean, there is something to going to spring training and getting yourself ready to pitch the season. And I don't think these pitchers are doing themselves any favors sitting around waiting to try to get money that they're not going to get. So, the owners are colluding like crazy right now. They're all saying, "Hey, don't wait till these guys get down to around 180 to 200 million dollars." Because I mean, how much better is Snell really than Nola? I mean, a little bit.
Nola, I mean,
a little bit, but what did Nola get?
Is he though? I mean, they're kind of like the same.
Yeah,
Nola's
I mean,
got 170, I think.
That's my point. What? How much did Nola end up getting?
I think 170.
170. Okay, so I'll give Snell the benefit of the doubt because he's won 2 Cy Young awards. 200 million at the most. Okay, at the most. But he's 31 years old.
172 for Nola.
What did he get?
7 years, $172 million.
Okay, but that's probably about what Snell should be getting. But I'll give him the benefit.
I thought it was a good move and a fair contract for Aaron Nola.
I thought it was too. I think that's about what he's worth. So maybe 6 years, 180 for Snell. I mean, how much money does he think he's going to get? He's not better than Cole. And basically the Yankees have drawn a line in the sand with him and said, we're not going to pay you as much as we're paying Gary Cole because you're not as good as Gary Cole. And I think a lot of the owners heard that and say, you know what? They're right. Let's just wait because he's not going to sit out a year because he doesn't want to get paid. Okay? Because that would be the stupidest thing ever.
But is Snell even like a top 10 pitcher in baseball?
He did win.
I know he won the Cy Young. I mean, yeah, I get that. But if you were ranking the pitchers,
he's won 2 Cy Youngs. I mean, it depends. You know what, Rob? He doesn't pitch that many innings.
But like Strider's better, Wheeler's better, Cole's better.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I mean, is he like as good as Bieber?
Bieber's a little older. Like Corbin Burns is better. How about that one? Corbin Burns going to the Orioles. The Orioles are going to be a problem.
Don't make me sick. That really that annoys.
At least it's not Boston.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
I'm very surprised Cashman and Dombrowski weren't in on that in those negotiations. Maybe they were.
Well, they were trying. They were trying to get. They were trying. Milwaukee wanted Dominguez, and the Yankees are not going to give him. Aren't going to trade. Period. I mean, but and everybody for whatever reason, everybody has to try to rob the Yankees. So it's a little harder for them to make trades. They see the Yankees and they're like, okay, we want to screw them because we hate them. And everybody
got an alert. I got an alert today. The Yankees made a trade with the Dodgers.
Yeah, they got a relief pitcher. They got a left-handed relief pitcher who's pretty good, actually. The only problem I had with him, I can't remember his name off the top of my head. But the guy gets averages 10 strikeouts per 9 innings, and but the only problem with him is he walks 3.5 to 4 guys per 9 innings too. And when you're talking about a relief pitcher, that's not something I particularly like. I like relief pitchers who come in and throw strikes.
Caleb Ferguson to the New York.
Yeah, Yankees. That's it. Yeah, he's left-handed. I think he was like 7-4 last year with a 2.80 ERA, something like that. He was pretty good last year, and he's been pretty good in his career. So I don't think that was a bad move. He kind of replaces Wandy Peralta, and you don't have to pay him $6 million a season. Which I think Wandy was a little overpaid, to be honest. I like him, but that's a lot of money. But as far as the Phillies go, I think there's still a move for them to be made. As I said, don't be surprised if they're waiting in the weeds for one of these guys who are still out there to be reasonable and then come out like a little snake and jump all like a little cobra and just come on and jump all over and bite and get that guy.
I mean, Cody Bellinger would be my guy for that.
Well, Rob, I've been telling you Cody Bellinger would be perfect for you guys because he can play center field. And I know you love your center fielder, but let's be honest, your center fielder can't hit for shit. Okay, I mean, unless what's his name, the guy with the beard goes over to center field, plays center field.
Oh no, he was the center fielder. He's going to be the left fielder.
Yeah, he's going to be. Yeah,
play center.
Right. No, that's what I'm saying. I mean,
and then you're probably going to have a platoon of Rojas, who was the center fielder in the playoffs, who's excellent on defense and really fast, but he can't hit.
He'll
Christian Pache.
Yeah, and he'll come in late to spell Castellanos in right.
You can do
and Schwarber's going to be, and Schwarber for the most part is going to be the DH. He'll probably go out there and play left field every once in a while to, just to keep him in shape, just in case he's needed out there, and also to open the DH spot so that Harper can DH once in a while, so that some of the other guys can DH once in a while. I'm sure they'll do something like that. Is that Joe Girardi? What am I saying? Rob Thompson likes to do that. By the way, you hear Girardi is now going to be in the Yankee broadcast booth again.
Good for him.
So, yep, we get to.
Good for him.
Yep, he landed.
All right, let's take our break. Let's hear from Royal Billiards, and then we're going to get into the Super Bowl. Sports Hounds, A2D Radio. We'll be back right after this.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, proudly celebrating 40 years and our new, bigger showroom.
Twice the size and twice the fun.
More pool tables by Olhausen. More dartboard sets, including custom reclaimed backboards. More bar and kitchen stools that can change a room.
And more bars, including pre-built and custom.
Hot tubs, skee ball, shuffleboard, outdoor,
and fun.
Royal Billiard and Recreation, your ultimate game room store. Now located on Bethlehem Pike in Colmar.
All right, there they are, Royal Billiards. Visit them in Colmar, PA, 515 Bethlehem Pike. Tell them the Sports Sound sent you. Turn any ordinary room into an extraordinary game room experience. Pool table, shuffleboards, hot tubs, anything you need. Bar stools, bars, anything you need. Tell them A2D Radio sent you. RoyalBilliards.com is the handle there. There it is right there. For all your game room or man cave needs, RoyalBilliard.com. Super Bowl week. We're going to have a lot of coverage, obviously, on the platform this week for the Super Bowl. Very underwhelming Super Bowl. Not really that excited at all. Obviously, we're coming in Philadelphia. We're coming off last year where the Eagles were participating. So this was just like biting your nails,
right?
Trying to find stuff to do.
We don't have a dog in the. Neither you or me have a dog in the fight. There's not even any teams that we really hate that are playing in the Super Bowl. I mean, I know you don't.
I hate the Niners. I think they're just such douchebags.
Okay. Well, you have that. I don't really hate either one of these teams, so it's not like. I mean, there are certain teams that I just can't stand, but these two teams are not amongst them. So.
Like I got Raw on, I got WWE Raw on in the background right now. Wrestling doesn't work unless there's a bad guy.
Yeah, exactly.
If I don't have a dog in the fight, if I don't hate the team, now I am rooting hard for the Chiefs because I'm a Swiftie. Let's go, and I hate the Niners. But I mean, Brad, your thoughts on the game? Niners. I mean, we had a comment earlier from Brian Crazen. He has the Niners winning 45-7.
Wait, who's winning 45-7?
The Niners.
No.
First off, I highly doubt that. Patrick Mahomes is not getting blown out.
You made a comment last week. Was it 2 weeks ago? You made a comment, and you know what? Your comment is one of the smartest things I've ever heard anybody say at A to Z Radio, okay? You cannot bet against Patrick Mahomes, period. Okay? If we haven't all learned our lessons by now, it's like you can't bet against Tom Brady. Okay, maybe a couple of times you can. But let's be honest, when you win what 7 out of 10 Super Bowls that you're in, that's 70%. You win 70% of the time. Your bank account is going to be vastly improved. So you can't bet against Patrick Mahomes. You just can't. In Kansas City, the difference between Kansas City in past years and now is that they can run the ball a hell of a lot better than they've ever been able to run the ball before. And number two, their defense is a lot better than it's been in the past. Their defense is very good now.
I mean, the Chiefs are, and Patrick Mahomes, you shouldn't bet against him. I mean, he's an underdog again. Chiefs are getting 2. They're plus 105 on the money line. So Niners favored by 2. Honestly, I think the play of the game is the under. 47.5, that seems high to me.
Yeah, that is a little high, I think. I think it's going to be lower than that.
I don't think we're going to have an air show, even though Mahomes is really good. Brock Purdy, I don't care what anybody says. Brock Purdy stinks. Don't care.
Brock
Purdy stinks.
The 49ers are going to want to run the ball with Christian McCaffrey, correct? They're going to try to do that. If the 49ers are going to win, Christian McCaffrey has to have about 120 yards from scrimmage. If they can do that, then and 80 of those better be rushing yards. And if they can do that, then they've got a chance to win the game. As far as the Chiefs are concerned, the Chiefs can run the ball a lot better than they've been able to run it in past years. And they have to because they don't have the receivers they used to have, but they still do have a great tight end. A first ballot Hall of Fame tight end in Travis Kelce. And you can't forget about that. The guy's virtually uncoverable. I mean, he's starting to look more and more like who's that guy that was on Atlanta, Gonzalez?
Yeah, he was on the Chiefs too.
Yeah, I mean,
most of his career was on the Chiefs.
Does he not remind you of Tony Gonzalez? He's such a moose, nobody can cover him, and he's an athletic moose. He's impossible to cover. And when you get down close to the goal line, he's going to catch the ball, and he's going to get a touchdown. And the 49ers, as good as they are, I don't know that they're going to be able to get the kind of pass rush on him that they did against Detroit. I mean, look, Detroit was a nice story, but Kansas City is a whole different animal, especially in the playoffs.
Agreed. I mean, it's gonna sound cliche, but like the stars are gonna, like Mahomes gonna have a good game, McCaffrey's gonna have a good game, Travis Kelce gonna have a good game. The defensive guys are gonna show out. Like which team is gonna have, like is Marquez Valdez-Scantling gonna catch the ball in the Super Bowl, or is he gonna be offsides and drop or like a guy like Jawan Jennings for the Niners? Like, is he gonna be able to? Is he gonna catch the ball and do some things, or is he gonna be just a guy out there? George Kittle, is he going to blow the game open up the seam like Kelce can do for the Chiefs?
Well, he can. He certainly can.
Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Tony and all those guys, they can do it too, but are they?
Well, and the Super Bowl, there's a lot of pressure on Brock Purdy. You can say all you want about him, whether he's good, whether he stinks. I don't think he's as bad as you make him out to be. Although he does. I'm going to admit one thing. He does have a noodle arm. He really does. And there's no question about that. I don't think I've ever seen a ball that he throws not have a big loop in it. Okay, just the ball always seems to go like that. I mean, when like Mahomes throws a pass, he zings it right in there. If Allen throws a pass, he zings it right in there. When you see this guy throw a pass, the ball always has a lot of hang time, if you know what I mean. So, I mean, there's that. But playing in the Super Bowl is a little different than playing in these other games. There's a lot of pressure. And, as far as I'm concerned with him, he has to get off to a good start. If he gets off to a bad start and the 49ers fall behind the Chiefs the way they fell behind the Lions, they're not going to come back and win the game. They're not going to score a lot of points against the Chiefs.
No, that's why I think
The Chiefs
47.5 is just a
the Chiefs
crazy
defense,
total.
Yeah, the Chiefs defense is really good. I mean, it's really good. So that's something you've got to watch out for.
And I think McSports here is hitting the nail right on the head. Chiefs going in playing well. Niners haven't looked that impressive in the last 2 playoff games.
Well,
they should have lost to Green Bay.
Listen, you're not giving Green Bay and Detroit enough credit. They're good football teams, but listen, the 49ers, I'm sorry, the Chiefs have beaten much better teams than the 49ers have. I don't think there's any question about that. I mean, the Chiefs went and beat the Ravens at home, and they beat on the road, and they beat Buffalo. I mean, what can you say? I mean, those are quality wins against great teams on the road. Those are impressive wins. The 49ers beat Green Bay, okay, but you know what? The Giants beat Green Bay too, I'm just saying, the Giants beat Green Bay. How good is Green Bay, really? I mean, they smoked Dallas, but as Dallas always finds a way to lose in playoff games, so that's not shocking, I guess. But I'd be very surprised if the 49ers lose this game. If the 49ers win the game. Now, I'm rooting for the NFC, of course.
So you're picking the Chiefs.
I'm picking the Chiefs. I'm rooting for the 49ers, but I'm picking the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs are going to find a way to win the game.
We did have breaking news in the NFL coming on just before we went on the air. Since when the hell has the NFL started talking about hosting a game in Brazil, and why now, especially on a Friday? Are there even any football fans in Brazil? So, Brad, right before we went on the air, the NFL, first off, it's been known for a while that they're going to do a game in Brazil next year. So they're going to have the opener on Thursday, and then the Philadelphia Eagles will be playing a home game in Brazil on Friday night of week 1.
I guess my question is why?
Why? Correct.
Why? Why?
I mean, why are you put the Jaguars in Brazil?
Why would you put the Eagles, of all teams, why would you put them in Brazil? The Eagles fan base deserves to have all their home games at home. Come on. What, are you kidding me?
That's weak.
That is
because went to London. They went to London the one year against the Jaguars, but they were the road team.
Okay, but that's
whatever. That's fine.
Yeah, but as far as I'm concerned, if a team is going to go to Brazil, it should be Houston or Dallas or one of the Texas teams. I mean, geographically, they're the closest ones, and people from Brazil, if they even follow the NFL at all, probably would follow teams from Texas.
It should be by attendance. If you're not selling out your home games, ship them overseas. The Eagles are sold out. There's a 25-year waiting list for Eagles season tickets. You're going to put them in Brazil?
Yeah, right. I mean, that's ridiculous.
As
bad as the Giants are, Rob.
Miami all the time.
Yeah, as bad as the Giants are, they sell out all their games too. You wouldn't put them there. You wouldn't put the Buffalo Bills there. Why would you put the Eagles there?
The Steelers, and I don't know who they're going to play. Maybe someone in the chat knows who they're going to play, but I don't know. But the Eagles are going to be having their week 1, their first game of the year, their home opener.
Maybe the Falcons
is going to be in Brazil. Well, hold on. We have the opponent. We know the opponents. We just don't know the times and the order. So maybe we can figure this out. I can't imagine they're going to put a division game.
No.
In Brazil.
No. Maybe. Who are they playing in the? Who are we playing in the AFC?
Okay. Here's the home opponent. So obviously it's the Cowboys, the Giants, and Commanders.
There's no way. There's no way those teams are going to Brazil.
Those are the. So it looks like we have the AFC North. So we're gonna play. We play the Browns and the Steelers at home, and we play. It looks like we play the NFC South.
So it's going to be an NFC South team.
The Falcons and the Panthers are on the schedule.
It'll probably it'll be the Panthers or the Falcons.
And then because the Eagles are playing a second place schedule, they'll play the Packers at home.
Yeah, well, it's not going to be the Packers. They're not going to make the Packers go there. It'll be the Falcons or the Panthers.
Falcons, Panthers, Jaguars.
Yeah, it'll be one of those three.
I mean, this sucks.
Oh, Goodell
on a Friday, Eagles will be the designated team. Opponent to be TBC.
Yeah, they have to figure out which
what's that?
Who
to be
other,
continued.
Yeah.
It should be TBD. That guy Neil.
To be
whatever
determined.
Whatever the fuck on Twitter doesn't even know how to tweet right.
Yeah,
but I mean,
why would you do? First of all, why would you do that to the Eagles?
Honestly, if you're a season ticket holder, I mean that slate is bleak. I mean, you get the Steelers at home, so that means
that's a good game. Listen, the
so
Eagles
they're at
Steelers.
They're at Baltimore, at the Saints, at Tampa, at the Rams. So I mean, you can't tell. We shouldn't even be talking about the schedule right now, just because.
No, you know what I think. If it's an Eagle home game,
you don't know.
If it's an Eagle home game, it'll be the Panthers or the Falcons.
Pete Evans thinks it's going to be a non-conference opponent. I mean, that's probably the Browns. Then I don't think they would put Eagles Steelers in Brazil.
No, the Browns. Are the Browns a home game for them?
Yes.
Wow, they're going to do that to Cleveland too.
So we got the. Yeah, so we're going to get the. So, we got the Bengals and the Steelers, or the Bengals and the Ravens on the road. Steelers and Browns at home.
Tell you what, we're not going to have an easy schedule then, because as a Giant fan,
I mean, the South.
That's a rough
South
schedule.
Isn't. I mean, the AFC North is a tough draw. I mean, all those teams are good every year, pretty much, and they're all physical. The NFC South stinks.
No, the AFC South
is
ridiculously bad.
So the Giants will play.
They're going to go. They're going to go.
Were the Giants last? Were the Giants last or third?
They were third.
So you'll play Seattle and
Atlanta.
The Bears. No, you play Atlanta.
Oh, they play. That's right. We play the South.
So you play the third place team in the NFC West, and you play the third place team in the NFC North.
No, that's the Vikings, right? Yeah, that's the Vikings.
Whatever, that'll all work itself out.
Yeah, well, that's a game they can win, obviously.
Chrome, I think part of the reason is because all the overseas games were absolute stinkers this year, minus KC and Miami. So it wouldn't shock me if they send a good opponent up to try to draw up a big game. I mean, Chrome, the overseas games are stinkers because they're
the
a million miles away from home. They're probably playing on dog shit fields. Like,
the Brazilian people know that you're allowed to use your hands in American football.
No, the biggest cheers at the England games were the punts because they don't know.
Yeah,
it's stupid. It's the stupidest thing. Like, you don't need to grow. Like, how much more money do you need, NFL? You play games in Brazil? Like, what's the stadium going to look like?
They put the games on YouTube and charge us a freaking fortune to get the games now, so that you could stream them. So, the NFL is the greediest organization in sports.
But they want to keep everybody safe.
Oh, yeah, sure they do. Priority. Yeah, that's why we have 17 games instead of 16. And they're going to have 18 too. So,
look, I mean, back to the Super Bowl, Eagles. I wish. Niners, Chiefs.
Who do you like, Rob?
Seems like all the betting money, at least early, is going on the Chiefs, which makes me nervous. I think I'm just going to bet the under. I don't know. I want the Chiefs to win. Because, I do watch sports for greatness. And Patrick Mahomes, even though he has become a little bit of a whiner, he's earned it. He's the best. He's the best player in the league. And
no question.
Yeah, and I think Pacheco could be the X factor there, because the Lions, they did a really good job running the ball with Gibbs in that NFC Championship game. He was breaking off some big plays,
especially in the first half.
And Pacheco can run the ball and catch the ball, kind of like Gibbs. Gibbs a little more explosive, but not much. Pacheco is a really good player. That was really good.
Pacheco is a more physical player.
But I mean, I like the under 47.5 as the posted total right now. I think that is way too high. So
yeah, I think you're looking at a 24-20 game, something along those lines.
I was going to say 21-17.
Yeah,
Chiefs.
Mm-hmm. I think there's going to be a lot of punting in this game.
I think that it wouldn't surprise me at all if a defensive guy, like a Chris Jones or a Nick Bosa, depending on who wins, kind of makes a couple of impact plays and comes home with the MVP.
See, I could see Chris Jones dominating this game. I really could. I mean, that's the one thing the Lions did not have, is a guy like that to just dominate. I mean, they kept talking about that defensive end that they have, the white guy. I can't remember his name now, but they kept talking about him. He's not Chris Jones, and he's not Nick Bosa. So there's that too.
David Roska, I got the Chiefs. He's got the Chiefs winning because the Niners lost 2 Super Bowls, Colin Kaepernick or Jimmy G. Someone should probably tell Roska that none of those players are playing for the Niners in this game. Kaepernick and Jimmy G both lost in the Super Bowl. That is a fact. But I mean, Brock Purdy is
a lot better than. Yeah, Brock Purdy is also a lot better than either one of those guys.
That's correct.
Yeah, I think
that's correct.
He certainly. I was never a fan of Kaepernick, and I definitely was not that big a fan of Garoppolo. He just found a way to win all the time. But that was with him. It was always smoke and mirror. It's always with him. It was always like, how you won, but I don't understand how you did it.
Yeah, and Kaepernick, all he had to do was stand up for a minute during the national anthem, and he'd probably be playing in the league right now.
Yep.
He was a jerk off.
Yeah, well,
but he's
he
a jerk off. So he
got what he wanted, though. He got a lot of money to not play football. He got a settle.
Right.
He was able to sue. He sued the NFL and got a nice settlement. So, whatever.
So what? You're 24-20 Chiefs. Let us know what your score is in the comments. Let us know who your MVP is. Let us know what you think about the Eagles playing in Brazil. And any other questions sports related? We're here to serve. So throw
I would say 24. I'd say 24-20 Chiefs, and I'm going to go with the MVP, Kelsey.
Kelsey.
Yep.
That'll make Taylor happy.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm not gonna pick Mahomes because anybody can pick Mahomes. I mean, it doesn't take a brain or a genius to do that. Pick somebody who's not the favorite. You know how I operate when it comes to that.
Well, that's how you win. That's how you win money.
Well, yeah.
Mahomes.
You don't pick the
unless
guy
you have deep pockets, which I don't.
Yeah, well, I mean, Mahomes would probably be like 7-5, 8-5, maybe 2-1.
I'm trying to bring it up right now.
And I would bet Kelsey would be like 4-1 or 5-1.
Is there awards? Where can I find this on DraftKings? Game props? No. Team props? Super Bowl leaders? What can I do?
Now for first touchdown, I might go Gus the Bus.
Who?
Gus the Bus. Gus Edwards.
Who's Gus Gus Edwards plays for the Ravens, Brad.
Oh, not Gus Edwards. I'm sorry. The guy
Pacheco?
Pacheco. I'm sorry, Pacheco. Yeah, I get them confused because they're both from Rutgers, so I kind of get them confused. It's hard to believe Rutgers actually has somebody that's in the Super Bowl. By the way,
Patrick Mahomes is plus 125.
Yeah,
to win MVP.
He's what, 6-5, 7-5? He's 6-5. So you can keep it. That's like almost.
Who did you say? Who did you say was going to win the MVP?
I'm going to pick Kelsey, and I'm betting he's going to be between 4-1 and 6-1.
12-1.
12-1. Okay, so now I really think I should bet Kelsey.
Well, you know that if Kelsey can't have a big game without Mahomes having a big game, and they're going to favor the quarterback.
That's true. That's true.
What's Chris Jones? Chris Jones is.
He's going to be high.
Plus 10,000. Well, yeah, he's a defensive tackle.
Yeah, he'd have to get a couple of strip sacks or a couple interceptions.
Yeah, so it's 10 to win 1,000 on Chris Jones.
Yeah, that's
MVP. McSports has the Chiefs 23-22. Mahomes is the MVP. Chiefs 42-20.
Oh, they're not.
I think the Chiefs
points up on
well,
San
I think
Francisco. That's asking a lot.
In my opinion, if the game's going to be a blowout and get out of hand, it's going to get out of hand in favor of the Chiefs, not the Niners.
Yeah, no, I agree, but I don't think they're going to score 42 points unless Purdy throws a couple of pick sixes. I don't see that happening. 49ers defense is good.
I'll
tell you what. Again, if they fall behind early against the Chiefs, the way they did against the Packers and the Lions, they're going to be in trouble. They're not catching up. They're not going to come back against that team. No way.
No, you're right.
That's one thing about the Chiefs. They're incredibly good front runners. When they get the lead in the playoffs, they're tough to catch. And the Chiefs also proved that they could come from behind in the Super Bowl. Look at how they came back against the 49ers the last time the two played. I think the Chiefs were down 10 with 4 minutes to go, right? And wasn't that the case? And then they came back and won? Or am I thinking of something?
Last year, too, you can really say. The Eagles had them by the throat in the first half.
Yeah, the Eagles had a 10-point. No, they had a 7-point lead on them. 10-point lead. I can't remember now.
It was more. I forget what the score. Because Jalen fumbled the football, and they got a scoop and score right. They got a scoop and score right before half, and then they got the ball to start the second half and went right down and scored again. And the rest was history.
Yeah, that's what killed them. I mean,
so I think the Eagles were up 10. I want to say. And then they were up 3 after the scoop and score, and then 24, they were down
4. I think it was 24-14.
I think the Eagles took the lead too with like 7 to go when Jalen Hurts did that QB sweep on the 2-point conversion. I forget if they took the lead on that or tied it.
I think they took the lead, and then the Chiefs went down and scored.
Anyway, then you got the holding on Bradbury and the punt return, and that was that. Yeah. Now the Eagles are picking up the scraps, and the Chiefs and the Niners are playing in the Super Bowl. Maybe next year the Eagles will rebound. I don't know.
They'll do something. They'll do something in the offseason. There always seems to be a lot of fireworks with them in the offseason. So they'll do something.
Any closing thoughts, Brad, before we get out of here?
Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of in the draft of mock drafts where Caleb, what's his name? Caleb, the guy from USC, is going to be drafted first by the Bears, and they're going to trade their quarterback, Justin Fields.
I like Justin Fields better than any quarterback in this draft.
Well,
That's my opinion.
I
Caleb
think
Williams, there's something about him I just don't trust. I can't put my finger on it. I can't deny that he's not talented because he is. I think Washington really likes him because they hired Cliff Kingsbury as their offensive coordinator.
because every USC quarterback ends up sucking. That's why.
Carson Palmer, he was pretty good.
Okay, that was one good one. What about all the other ones? You can go back to what's his name? The guy that was the quarterback with Reggie Bush, Matt.
Leinart
yeah.
flopped.
Leinart flopped. What's his name? The guy the Jets drafted. He flopped.
Oh, Sanchez flopped.
Sanchez flopped. The other guy that they drafted, the next one that they drafted from USC, he flopped.
I don't really like those narratives though, because everyone always says Ohio State quarterbacks flop, and I think Justin Fields is good, and C.J. Stroud had an outstanding season from Ohio State.
Yeah, but USC's always been a passing team, and Ohio State's kind of been a running team. Well, it seems most of the time. So when you do get one that can throw, it stands out more.
True. And yes, Matt Spillane, I do love Justin Fields. I think he's terrific. He just needs a change. He needs like God forbid you take a guy what did he go 9th in the draft with the Bears or something like that?
God forbid the Bears actually go out and get themselves a really good receiver.
I mean, they got DJ Moore, but if you have the first pick in the Bears, keep Justin Fields and pick Marvin Harrison Jr. How much better of a quarterback?
Don't tell him that. He needs to go at number 6.
There's no way he's there at number 6.
Oh, okay. Well,
there is a receiver at
hope, right?
First. Well, if the Giants are looking for a receiver, there's another receiver out of LSU named Malik Neighbors, who's.
Yeah, is he good? Does he warrant being a number 1 pick, like the 6th pick of the draft?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
then
then
I have no idea what the mock.
And then next year, after Daniel Jones gets injured again, and then we get a new quarterback in 2025, he can be the new superstar on the team.
Well, yeah, you can get Shedeur Sanders out of Colorado next year.
There you go.
But yeah, I mean, mock draft, I don't really. But Malik Neighbors is a monster.
Okay.
He's not Marvin Harrison Jr., but he's a monster.
Well, they need.
I have no idea where he's supposed to go, but I would imagine he's a first-round pick.
They need a receiver a difference-making receiver. Whether they have whether Daniel Jones is their quarterback or whether whoever they draft is going to be their quarterback or whoever they trade for is going to be their quarterback, they need a monster quarterback. They need a monster receiver. They haven't really had a really good receiver since Beckham.
Yeah, we all know how that turned out.
Yeah.
Well, all right, enjoy Super Bowl week. Rivals coming up next on A2D Radio. Brad Ryer, Rob Brinkman. Until next week, peace out, everybody.